They all just go to plan. They're framed and fixed and rigged. You know they're all just spam. So buckle down, plug right in. It crawls its way under your skin. Just got out from the things they spout, and it will make you shout. Give me that good news, because I'm tired of the same old shit.
And the good news is it's time for the grounds with Giles and Jones. Giles on assignment at the moment. He'll be in the studio shortly. And we are being brought to you today by Community Home Inspections, communityhomeinspections.net, 847-401-9501. When you need that peace of mind for the home you're selling or the home you're buying, Community Home Inspections can give you exactly that. Well, Mr. Jones.
Mr. Jones.
Good morning.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Of course, this is the most unique, show that you're going to ever follow or hang out with us on 216net. Why? Well, here's why. You can actually be part of this show. You're just going to go ahead and click the link that's in the comment section right about now, and put that in your URL. Follow the instructions. Get off of whatever social media you're on, so we don't get an ugly loop. And guess what? You can be right here with us on air. Of course, Scott, how you doing this morning? Good. Okay. Friday, as Scott would say. Everybody have a good week, Pete.
Yeah.
Crazy week.
Yeah.
Is one of those weeks. It turned November came in and turned winter here in northern Illinois, and now it's going to go back to fall.
this week. for the next few days,
is great, which is absolutely fantastic. And of course, we busy day here, right? Y'all just got done pumping a little iron with Mary Catherine's Power Hour playlist. Bridging Civil Tension is going to be a best of this morning. Success Journey podcast follows that. Then we've got the Bare Facts on Guns at noon, and then the Neighborhood Pulse at 1. In the Know with Steph and Joe at 3. And, it is exciting to be part of 216net here. Hey, Gary, how are you? Good evening from Singapore. Being in 2 minutes. Appreciate you, brother. All right. So here's what I hear a lot of lately.
Okay.
Pete, and welcome to communist America.
Yeah.
So, and everybody's being who doesn't fall into somebody's ideology. Hey, Eddie, good morning. Have a good time at the Scramble. If you don't fit into that ideology, someone's ideology, you are now Hitler. So it's
a big leap.
Aren't we getting a little tired of this? And if I were to ask people out there, hey, what is communism? Do you actually know?
That's a good question.
I've thought of this. I'm like, communist. Okay, well, what is it? And explain to me how you think America is turning into a communist state.
I think on the surface level of it, that people associate the term communism with being told what they can and can't do.
Correct.
By their governing bodies.
Mm-hmm.
There's a little more to it than that.
Yep.
It is interesting to me, though, that even I, good old Uncle Pete, who I'm usually somewhat easygoing, I don't like being told what to do.
Right.
I really don't.
Right.
I do have issues with authority figures.
I think we all do, right? Yeah. You should, anyway, push back a little bit. And of course,
I push back a little bit.
Of course, Scott, is when he gets in from his assignment, he'll say, "Hey, guess what? Question everything, right?" So, hey, Gary, good morning. Welcome aboard.
Good morning. Good evening, actually, from my side.
So I mean, if I were to say, you hear it a lot, America's turning communist, what does that actually mean? Right?
I think
You want the simple version or the extended version?
Give it to us, brother.
Well, actually, if you talk about the very, very basic definition of communism, is just basically a system in society where all the property it belongs to the public,
Yep.
and you work, or you work, and the things that are given to you are actually decided by the government according to your needs.
According to your needs. Yeah.
Yeah. So for example, if you it's kind of like if you stay, let's say, if you need more land, then the government would decide that you need more land, and they'll give you the land. So everything belongs to the public, but then the apportioning of that thing is decided by the government. So that's basically a very, 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 very basic definition of
Very basic.
communism.
Okay. And Shayna says it means control. Okay.
Okay.
So let me just read a definition of communism. A political theory derived from Karl Marx, advocating class war and leading to a society in which all property is publicly owned and each person works and is paid according to their abilities and needs.
Yeah. All right.
Sounds like America.
mm-mm.
None.
You never read Atlas Shrugged, have you?
No.
Oh, that's a good book, Atlas Shrugged. Yes.
Yeah, I've actually read the book itself 3 times. I love that book. It's a wonderful story. And it's based exactly on that. Ayn Rand was actually from communist.
I think she's then Danish. Was it Danish or Norwegian?
Yeah, she was Danish and raised. She experienced part of the World War II Germany occupation a bit, and then also some Russian occupation as well, if I recall right. But it talks exactly about what you said there. People are paid according to basically their needs and their abilities and their needs.
Mm-hmm.
What happens and that's demonstrated in that book, which is a work of fiction,
okay,
based on real life experience of living in a communistic society,
okay,
is that other people are deciding what it is you need.
Yeah.
There's no opportunity afforded to expand on your wants and desires nor goals. There is no goal setting. There is no achievement. There is no drive. And the ability is observed by someone else, not by you. You may feel you have an ability, but they say, no, you're just going to do this. So that's, I think, what a lot of people, and again, this is just my opinion,
Mm-hmm.
I hate going political on this. A lot of people don't like being told, no, you can't do this, or even worse, no, we're not even going to let you try. To not try, and this is a line from the Ayn Rand book that I love, to not try would be the worst thing.
Okay. So here in the States, hey Zen, how did you get that?
I did.
Nice.
We're all good.
Good.
Taken care of. Only 6 minutes late.
That's good. So here in the States, we enjoy just that. We call it union. Hey, you can't pick up those nails because you're not a carpenter. Hey, you can't screw in the nut 2 feet down on the line because you're not a nut screwer.
Right. The 3 guys standing next to you can't help either.
Correct. So, welcome to America.
Hey, you can't open your pots 24 hours a day and empty out the container ships waiting outside.
That's correct.
But
that is correct.
Here's the kicker on that. That's true. I agree with you very much. Okay, my opinions don't matter here. But
Yes, they do.
here's the thing. You do have the choice as to whether or not you want to join the union. And once you've joined the union, you do have the choice as to whether or not you want to leave the union.
Yes.
Within a communistic
Mhm.
state, you do not have that choice.
Do I? Because I have house payments
I was
and
just gonna say,
real
once you're
estate
in, you kinda know
taxes.
they got you. So,
real
yeah.
estate taxes for the property, quote unquote, I own that I have to pay
But again,
all the time.
here in the
And
United
if I don't,
States,
you can come as the state and take away my property.
Sorry, Ken, you're referring to a communist society where that description you are describing in a communist society or in the U.S. society now about having a house and then you have tax to pay.
Yes.
Sorry,
here in
no,
America.
your example was given in a communist society or the current U.S. society.
That's the current U.S. society.
Oh, okay, right, fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. So even though I quote unquote own my home, I still have to pay.
You don't own it yet.
Tax.
I own one. Right.
I guess.
Yeah. I mean, so
Well, I mean, the bank owns it. You pay
Right.
them nicely every month.
correct.
So yeah, like what you're saying, the union.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha. You're in that job that
Right.
pays for
I
you,
have
so
to stay in
you
here.
feel stuck.
Oh, and by the way, now I've got 10 years in or something, so I've got,
Getting your
seniority.
right, and
you
work
said an
closer
important
towards
thing right there, though.
You know,
You feel stuck
right,
in the literal sense.
right.
all right.
Or
So
not,
everybody
you're not
listening,
actually-
right now, I want you to understand, Uncle Pete is taking his sweater off like Mr. Rogers right now.
You should be my neighbor.
Hello, neighbor.
But here's what I guess I'm tired of is how limited we all are in our scope, and when is it that words become when do words have meanings again? Because if I don't like something, I throw out, "Oh, he's this like Hitler." There's been a lot worse people in the world since Hitler who've done just as bad or
Yeah.
worse things.
Yes.
Why can't we compare people to because we don't know. We're very
Or
limited.
He's the one that is so prevalent in everyone.
Very, very limited.
Taught, right? Yeah.
Right?
I mean,
I guess he's because he's the one that's prevalent in the U.S. Mindset because of what the U.S. went through in World War II. So
Correct.
Hitler is always the bad guy. But I mean, to be honest, in this part of across the pond here, there are much worse people than Hitler. I mean, there's Pol Pot, who was who was the one in Cambodia for the killing fields.
I was just going to bring up. Yeah.
Yeah, so we have worse people than Hitler over here, but we know about it because it's on this side of the pond.
So we throw things around. We throw things around like the word communist America. Well, right? And are we that far off from it? And has your life ever been that far off from it? We right?
We're not far off. We're not far off.
And
by any means.
but
I don't think a lot of people realize that.
But at the same time, we are right, and I don't believe that the United States is headed down that path. We tend to knee jerk and run quick and say, "Oh, all right," and it's all around. Again, what we've talked several times about on this show is what's the narrative? What's the spin? Do you take time every day to study, to read, to figure things out for yourself? Or do you go, well, I saw on TikTok that this is going on, or there was a comment on the Book of Face that, this goes, right? Scott, you need to fix your mic. Did we unmute him?
Is it broke?
No, he's just unmuted.
Oh, because I was on assignment. They didn't want any extra noise coming out of the side of the studio this morning.
That's
Well, I'm
right.
glad. So then my students.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, good seeing you.
All right, Uncle Pete. Yeah, go have a good scramble.
See you, Pete.
Scrambles today?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Have a good scramble. So at what time, Yeah, I do get my news from TikTok. I absolutely love TikTok. Right. At what time? At what time do? And here's what happens, I guess, here in America. What I see. Oh, America's turning to communism. I'm just gonna sit here on my couch and look at social media. Right? At what time or what has to happen in your life for you to make a change, for you to stand up, for you to go against the grain or whatever, for you to say, this isn't right, I'm not accepting it. Right? Americans are too accepting, I think.
Right. A lot of them are just complacent. What am I going to do?
Hey, whatever.
Right. A lot of people
Right.
are just, it's what's happening. There's nothing I can do when, there's nothing you can do on the immediate to make something instantaneously happen, but it's the little small things, the slight changes in your life, the slight changes in your environment and how you do things and what you say and who you say them to that will eventually make a change. You're not going to change what our country has become overnight by any means.
Nope.
But we can slowly do that. One, by standing up.
Yeah.
Two, questioning everything, like I say. Three, holding our elected officials, to what they say they're going to do, and not just be like, oh, well, there's nothing I can do, and fighting back instead of just a lot of us are just so tired at this point that they just laying down. Okay. I'm going to go do my thing. I want to stay in my little piece of the world, my little home, wherever I'm at.
Yeah.
And, not be a rebel rouser, not shake things up because they feel that their one vote or their one comment is not going to make a difference. And they're sadly forsaken that it's, it does.
Yeah.
If everybody does that, I get tired of hearing people say, do you vote? No, my vote doesn't mean anything. Well, yes, it does. Regardless of what it is, it's going to either counteract, be against another vote or help in your favor. But you can't say that, and that's where a lot of people are just fed up and stop doing things.
Well, and I've used our friends over in Singapore. I absolutely love Gary. Right?
Yeah. Morning, Gary. By the way.
And
morning, Scott. You were late.
and now he's happy over there. It's not a democracy, is it?
No, not far. Well, not, I wouldn't use the word far from it, but we are a hybrid sort of system. We are, on the facade, we look like a democracy to most, but actually half of it is actually socialism.
So what I'm saying is, at what point do you as an American go, you know what, I'm going to be happy with life. I'm going to go back to being proud to be an American. He's proud to be a Singaporean. I'm going to be a integral part of society. I'm not going to sit and get caught up in all this yuck that's in social media, and I'm going to carve my way. I'm going to live the American dream. It seems to me that the people most upset with a lot of these things, and hold your elected. In the United States, you're never going to hold your elected officials accountable because the money behind it will never allow you to, right?
Well, that's true.
So
that's true,
here's what maybe needs to happen. The system needs to break. Somebody needs to come in with a wrecking ball and go, pow!
Well, the system doesn't need to break. It's already broken.
Well,
that's
the
problem,
right?
But what we need to do is we need to restart it. And you always hear people talking about revolution or rioting.
You need more Virginias. You need more Virginias.
More
Virginias.
Yeah. But it's a slow, easy, slow process to start doing these things and standing up for what you really want. I mean, you can't just, like I say, just can't change it overnight. So doing a revolution or anything like that. I mean, you can't break the government like that because then the world's literally going to shut down. Yeah.
Shana says, I know you have opinions on unions, LOL. However, it helps to be part of a large group when you need to make a stand. Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I think Shana's statement is, I would say, 3/4 I agree with it, but I think there's the other unspoken 1/4, which is, yes, the union helps to protect the workers. It helps the workers to make a stand, but you cannot be detrimental to the general society at large. And I think this is now very apparent as to the logistics and transport crisis that the US is facing now, especially at the ports, where the ports LA being the busiest spot is only open 16 hours a day, and that's primarily because the unions do not allow it to be open 24 hours a day. As a result, you have ships anchored off the coast, which are waiting to be unloaded, and on top of that, you have the governor, or you have the transport secretary levying $100 a day fine on ships which are parked outside for every day thereof, which is not unloaded on the ship's owners themselves. And eventually, the cost of all this are going to be passed on to the U.S. consumers when the ships finally come to harbor after inheriting a $1,000 fine. And then the U.S. consumers are the one that's going to get paying for that price. So I agree, unions we have unions here also, but it cannot be detrimental to the general society at large. And I think that's perhaps where the balance, unfortunately, is not struck in a lot of the US situations, and you're having infrastructure issues, you're having even simple logistic and transport issues, which is very apparent during the pandemic. It's so apparent now, actually, for us to see on outside of the US.
Well, the unions were started for a great reason, to give people a voice, to help them, to join together, to bring a community together, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they do a great job. They just kind of got too big for themselves and started, kind of not paying attention to the little guy anymore. Yeah. And I know there's also a big thing we call government that was the same way. That's the same way. It was started out.
The unions essentially
for the right reasons, right? And power and money have basically changed what they do and why they do it. It's not just about for the people anymore.
The unions actually became the very enemies which they are claiming to be fighting against, actually. So the unions became a corporation in essence.
Yeah. So Shannon says, "Hey, Gary, respectfully, no." And individualism versus collectivism. Well, here's what I don't see, and I think here's what you don't see, and that's why you take the stand that you do. Growing up in the time that we grew up, 70s, 80s, right? You were proud to be an American.
I didn't know any different.
You stood at every morning. You put your hand on your heart at the beginning of the day.
Pledge of Allegiance.
The whole school did the Pledge of Allegiance together, right? It was over the loudspeaker.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And if you were at a Major League Baseball game or something like that, it was
right, the national anthem.
And you sang, and you would see people tear up, because they were proud to be an American. Right. That's what caused a lot of pushback around the globe, because we were so proud and arrogant that we were Americans, and right. And now Americans are questioning ourselves and our stances. And if we were to put a poll out there to say, are you proud to be an American? Do you think it would be 90% yes and 10% no? Or do you think it would have swung maybe 60% no, 40% yes, or more? Where are you at?
It's definitely lessened, obviously. I'm still proud to be an American. We still have so many different freedoms and options and availability here in the United States that nobody else has in any other country. The fact that they're being, slowly but surely taken away from us, or at least modified, is disheartening, to say the least. But I am still proud to be an American. I'd love to live in another country just because it'd be fun, but I'm proud to be an American because we busted away years and years and years ago for justice and for individuality and, to do our own thing. Unfortunately, that right now at this point that it's actually a lot of our freedoms are being taken away from us slowly but surely. And it's sad, and nobody's fighting back because everybody's kind of laying down, or a lot of people are laying down and just saying, well, it is what it is. I can't change it. And that's not the American spirit. The American spirit is I can do it.
Well, I can because I'm an American. I can. So the bottom line is this: more people in America either have more loyalty to their high school team or their professional sports team than they do to the country.
Oh my God, absolutely.
Right. And oh my gosh, if you raise the price on tickets I'm going to go crazy. But you've slowly raised my property taxes and my income taxes, and I don't say two words about
Well, they
it.
do, but they
You
don't
raise
voice it to anybody.
Right?
They voice
you raise
it
the
to
price
just,
of
yeah,
popcorn. What? Right?
right,
They go crazy.
right. That's where they feel like they don't have, you know, a voice. You know, it's like, what am I going to do? There's nothing I can do. Well, you contest your taxes if that's the one that's bothering you. I contest my taxes every year. You know, I mean, if you don't believe it and you think you're being wronged, if something's not right, you have to question it. You have to fight back against it. We have we have that right in America to fight back and to question it. But a lot of people don't use that right.
Right, but at the same time, in August, 4.6 million people did that.
Yeah,
they
left
fought
their
back
job.
and they left their job. Like, this sucks. I'm being abused. I'm not being paid enough. Screw you. I'm walking out. 4.6 million people.
I don't think it was about being paid enough. I think it was about what they were asking them to do to their bodies.
Nope. It was not. It was not. And that's it. Just stop and leave it alone, because I'm tired of that discussion too.
Right.
Leave it be. But no, it is work conditions. It is pay. Because, hey, you're not giving me a fair wage to live, a fair living wage now, right? Well, and it's just going to get worse, right? And
I
yeah,
like
good,
Shane. I like Shane's question. Yep. How the hell do we effectively fight back? That's an awesome question. How? Well, we just don't lay down. I mean, talking to people, gathering together. I was just in a meeting 2 weeks ago, basically starting to say, same thing. How we need to start standing up, and a lot of people will bitch and complain about things, but they won't actually go out and do anything about it. Or, like, let's just say, being in a like a public official, like being on the school board. How many people don't like what their schools are doing, but yet they're the ones that don't go to the school meetings? Who's the ones that don't like what your city's doing, but they don't go to the city meetings? Those city meetings are wide open to the public. They don't go in and voice their opinion.
So let's go back to biblical times, and this is how you effectively fight back. When Jesus walked the earth, here's what happened. The Pharisees, they were like the educated people, and they allowed you to not read. They didn't want you to be smart. They wanted to keep the general public dumb, so that you didn't question them, and they had authority because of their intelligence and whatnot, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the same way it is. When was the last time you read a bill? You didn't.
I don't think I ever have.
Right. So now there's a bill, an infrastructure bill that's this tall, a stack of papers this tall, thousands of pages, and we're saying, somebody says, oh, down here on page 962, it says something about Illinois, and we get up in arms. Well, the first 965 pages should have been read. We are not educated enough, right, as Americans to fight. You want to know how to fight back effectively? Educate yourself. Continue to read. Know what's going on. Right.
Well, the old saying,
because now this country is run by attorneys and law,
big corporations,
right, who have big attorneys, and now I speak up here because I'm an attorney, and I know you don't know my attorney speak, and now I can
make you feel dumb too.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that's what's the old saying? Readers are leaders.
Yeah.
You read and stay involved, and you stay educated, you can stick up with it, or at least understand what's going on.
Interesting that you talk about bills, because as a non-American and as a person who is way removed from American society on this part of the pond, I think I know more about what's happening with the reconciliation bill that is now in front of Congress than I think most Americans. I mean, I think most Americans didn't even know that in the last 2 days, another 500 pages were added to the reconciliation bill, making it a total of a 2,100 page bill, which they expect the Republicans to read and digest within 72 hours in order to pass, so that they can pass the reconciliation bill, which is going to affect the budget of the United States. I think most Americans do not even know what's happening in that. But then again, C-SPAN is broadcasting this free of charge on the channels. And here I am actually watching and understanding more about C-SPAN and whatever is the congressional hearing that's ongoing now. with regards to Michael Fauci or the House nominees for Department of Housing and things like that. It's surprising. The information is there, but what Scott said is like either most people probably can't be bothered, and then they just whine about it and say, why can't we do anything about it? But then you never educate yourself on what's happening in your own backyard. That's
if you're not an American, this is a wonderful daytime drama.
yeah, it's true. I'm reading, I'm watching, I'm sitting here watching Fox Breaking News YouTube channel, and they had these snippets of when the congressional boards committees are questioning the House the nominees for various positions on their past things, and it's like, it's really like days of our lives actually.
Yeah, we're more concerned about the girl who stuffed her mother into a suitcase over in Bali years ago than we are about what's actually going on here. We're like,
correct.
Well, that's where social media.
Matters?
That's right. Well, that's where social media it distracts everybody.
So, you want to read what Bob says there?
So Bob says many of today's issues in America started when the Supreme Court declared that corporations are people.
Yep. So
and that couldn't be the farthest thing. Corporations are not people. They're run by people.
They're run by people.
They're run by people.
But in a capitalist society, which we've allowed to happen, I believe in free enterprise, right? I believe in you go get yours. But in a capitalist society, that's what I mean. Yeah, follow the money. That's what we always say. And thank you, Gary. You are a breath of air.
Yeah.
Thanks, Wendy. And Shana, I couldn't name a single pop star from your country. The likelihood of you knowing what we do is not unusual due to our position in the entertainment world. So I mean, America is
we are definitely more out there in the mainstream.
Right? Yeah, the Americana culture is way out here in the whole world. Yes.
But again, we are very what do I want to say? Self-centered people. I didn't even know where
What's in it for me?
I didn't even know where Singapore was until Gary started showing up on some shows.
Right.
I had to do a little research.
Right. Didn't know what time it is or anything. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But truth be told, Americans don't give two licks about anybody other than Americans. That's the bottom line. Right?
It's kind of like the church before Galileo came in and said, we actually revolve around the sun, not the other way around.
Look at that. Lana is out in Beloit. Right. She teaches out there, and of course does a great show. Tune in tomorrow morning, 9:30 a.m. For metaphysical meanderings. But she says school is canceled today. Possible riots by hate groups. What?
Possible right. And they you know what I mean? It's something that's broadcast, which is just crazy.
And Bob says what there?
He's unfortunately many of our congressional representatives are controlled by lobbyists and the corporations that they represent, which is totally true.
That's what I said a little bit earlier.
Right. Yeah,
you can fight all you want, but because we're a capitalist society,
we can buy you.
How much money do you need to make that go away? The lobbyists will just be right there going, how much money you need to make that go away, or stop complaining about that.
And of course, I'm going to go back to what we said. Most Americans are uneducated about that. So how do I fight back? Well, I can't, because this my voice doesn't matter. Well, if you educate yourself, right? And we at one point in our history, on our timeline here on this earth, the United States ranked way up at the top, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in education and creativity and manufacturing and all this. Where are we now? We're down in the 30s to 60s for most of this stuff. Right.
So it was cheaper to go abroad.
So what happened? Does Bob have a show? He should, right?
he should. He's a brilliant man. And he's actually taught me all the things that I know.
And I'm not, and again, we want to stretch people a little bit here. We want to push you, make you feel a little bit uncomfortable and open your mind. Right. We're not talking any type of side of the political aisle. We're just saying in America today, I'm saying in America today, when was the last time you read a book?
Me?
Yeah.
Personally? Yesterday,
right? When was the last time you read a book, Gary?
But not a lot of people do.
Does instruction manuals count? No, I digress.
Something that could be just something as pleasure or
I hated reading as a young guy. I love reading now, right? And I do a lot of reading. But most American adults don't read 2 books after they get out of high school for the rest of their life. complete
Right,
books.
and that's a crazy statistic too. And
Right.
I actually was one of them until a few years, probably
Understand
5-6 years ago,
Right.
that I really started actually picking books back up again to read, because that's actually the only way. Well, not the only way, but if you don't read, you don't understand. But if you read, you do understand. When you're reading these books, you're actually picking up people's knowledge that they've been through this before and what they've done and how they've kind of helped themselves and to kind of grab a little bit better understanding of the issue maybe that
Right.
book's covering, or if it has something to do with the self-help thing, understanding yourself and how you're doing.
Yeah,
it's very beneficial.
So Shana says, I'm well informed, read quite a bit. Now what? Well, here's what happens. I can go into my kitchen and I can read an entire book on recipes. But if I don't start using those recipes or actually put emotion behind it, trying to cook or bake, then all I've done is read, right?
Read a lot of words.
and so here's, Shana, what you're doing, and let me help you by joining in this show. We've got over 800,000 listeners who are hearing your words that you're putting on this show. We've created a platform here at 216 The Net that stays away from yuck, right?
We try to stay away from the yuck, yeah.
No politics, right? No news, right? We do address some topics like this to make you stretch, think, and grow deeper. But because you're doing this, you're being heard around the world.
Right.
The goal of 216 The Net is to put content out there that could change people's minds,
at least make
and
them
give
think
them
about it, right?
Something encouraging to listen to. Go, man, these guys they're funny, they're idiots, and but
they made me
make a
think.
good point,
right? So Shana, I appreciate it. You say, what are you supposed to do now? And you say my rolling billboard is more than your effort, right there. And I don't mean disrespectful. Right there is the problem, right? You're well read, you're well informed, you're very knowledgeable,
right?
And you say my rolling billboard, which took me all of probably 2 minutes to make on my truck, which is making people think, does a lot. There's little simple things that you can do. Some people don't want a rolling billboard, but talk to your neighbors and be like, hey, what do you think? Because sometimes the best ideas come out of the worst situations.
But her neighbors are, that's that kooky. Oh my God, she is nuts. Look at her.
That's what I'm saying. Some people don't want that recognition, that open up. I'm going to say that's kind of what they want. They want us to lay down and be like, there's nothing I can do.
Well, the other thing in America, I think, is we tend to, again, I'll go back to the sports teams. We tend to grasp on to people.
Follow the masses.
It is absolutely amazing to me how many people are rolling around or have flags of the former president, or
the ones that say F Biden riding around,
and so the interesting thing is instead of ideologies, we grab onto a person or a team or something like that. Instead of saying, let me stand for an issue and let me make that issue mine, because now everything that people who support the former president absolutely loved about him is null and void, because now if he decides to run again, he's a politician. He's already a politician, and why you liked him is because he wasn't.
Because he was right, and he was running the country like a business, not.
So the funny thing is you can do things. Just trust me when I say that. Your thoughts and your words on this station.
Just tuning in every week for us is huge, because maybe everyone else out there's going, well, wait a minute, Shana made a good point, or Bob made a good point, or oh my God, Gary stays up. Because it's midnight there, right, Gary?
It's only 9 o'clock in the evening here.
He's taking his time to listen to us because it's something that's valuable that he could share his knowledge of what's going on over there.
Yeah, what are you, 13 hours ahead? Is that right?
Yeah, well, I think currently 13 hours ahead of you guys, so it's 9 p.m. over here.
Yeah, and then on Sunday you'll be 14 hours. because
Uh,
our clock.
oh, yeah.
Yeah,
here.
some great politician years ago. Let's change the time.
DST, DST, daylight savings.
They're like I love the old Native American. They're like white people are the only people who will say, let's cut the top inch off of the blanket and sew it on the bottom to make it longer.
Yeah.
Hey, let's take an hour off so that
Right.
it doesn't make it.
So Shayna, we do appreciate everything
Yeah.
you put in, and my answer, I guess, or my statement to you is, you say, my rolling billboard is more than your effort. Well, you're obviously educated. You've read a lot.
Yeah.
Really, what needs to be done? I mean, seriously, I know what needs to be done, and I'm trying to do it. I'm trying to wake people up. I'm trying to create a little bit of tension with people to make them think and go, oh, wait a minute, Scott's completely nuts, but at least you thought about it.
Let me give you an idea here and kind of a thought process to go through. We've lived in America 50 plus years, right?
54 as of
right?
Tuesday. I was an
And
old
happy
fart
birthday,
on
brother.
Thursday. Yeah.
Good, right? So my wife and
Don't hold that against me.
and we'll bring up community home inspections right now because you see this all the time. Community home inspections. I'm moving out of my house that we've lived in for 18 years.
Moving on up,
okay,
to the top.
And as I know, there are some things that are not exactly right with the house that I live in, but I've learned to accept it over the years. And live with it, and it was fine and comfortable, and I was very happy. The inspector comes in and says, "Uh-oh, A, B, C, D, and E need to be addressed." What? I take that very personally. How dare you tell me that A, B, C, D, and E need to be addressed?
I've lived here forever.
Just fine.
Right.
But they do, right?
Yes.
And that's what's happening in America today. We've lived here, and we're like, hey, we're okay with A, B, C, D, E, and F being maybe against our beliefs or what we stand for, but we've learned to accept it.
Well, right.
Well, now the new person coming into my house is like, I'm not accepting that.
Right.
You need to fix that.
Right.
Oh,
well,
okay.
And that's,
right. So I have one of two choices: you fix it, or you don't sell it.
Well, you fix it, right? Or you sell to somebody else,
right?
Right.
You understand?
So, that's where, and as Americans right now, we either fix it, or you continue to live with the issues that someone else, says is bad.
And I love what Bob says.
All right. So Bob again says, "United we stand, divided we fall." Love that. That is a philosophy that we've lived by for many years, because we are in a group. Correct. We are much stronger than on our own, and that's one reason that we're saying, Shayna, that the station is trying to unite us, to bring us together, to talk. You know what I mean? To put these issues out there. All right. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, we are now a society that has been split by the powers of greed and corporations. And the words of those previously in political power, when they said, "We love the uneducated." Absolutely. And if you guys missed that one, that's exactly. That's where you need to pay attention. That's where reading comes up, because that shit was actually said. We love the uneducated. Absolutely. Because they will do whatever we say, because that's we think is best for them. Right. The sheep.
Right. So, and Silas, welcome in, brother.
Silas, been a long time. Thanks for chiming back in.
Yeah, hope things are good. People make the mistake of thinking our job is done when we vote for our leaders and send them to Washington. People need to engage civically and politically in this country. Engagement increases knowledge and understanding of the issues, raises the bar of the expectation and accountability, and most importantly, allows people to meet their leaders who are making a difference in their community. Better yet, become one. We get the government we elect. Engagement is the key.
That's huge. And that's Silas, that was well said. And that's what I was saying. I was just in a political activists committee last week, and basically saying, all these people are bitching, complaining, and moaning about what's going on out there, but nobody's standing up. They want me to run for public office.
Boy, with the bones you have in your closet, I wouldn't either.
See, I'm not worried about it. There's no skeletons that I don't care that anyone knows about. But at this point, I would love to, and I'm honestly seriously considering it with everything I've got going on. But I don't need sleep, obviously, but I would too. But at this point, it's not just about, it starts with one person, right? And that's the only reason that keeps making me rethink about maybe running for office, because if I don't do it, then the next person isn't going to do it. And I'm the one that's telling you to question everything.
Right,
I'm the
but-
one that's telling you to open up. So it takes one person that is fed up and is just ready to stand up and start doing things. What that is, even if that's just helping get someone else elected that is good. Go out there. I mean, Gary Rabine, once again, we're not going political, but Gary Rabine, he's a brilliant man. He's a great person, whether he's on your political side of the fence or not.
He's built a good business.
He's built a good business. He's as far as I know, he's a very morally driven man, right? And I mean, it could be, right?
Could be.
And he needs support in order to be elected.
Could be, but now that people are filling his coffers, maybe his morality is starting to bleed into where that money is coming from.
Right. And hopefully that doesn't happen, because he is a self-made man. Right. Right. And we don't know. And that's the thing, is a lot of politicians get into it. And that's another thing that scares me. A lot of people get into it for the right reasons. Then they all of a sudden realize what that machine really is.
Well, and people like Gary, not Gary Huang, who's on with us. Gary, thank you. But Gary Rabine, but people who aren't politicians think, I'm going to come in, I'm not a politician, we're going to change this thing. Yeehaw. Well, all of a sudden you get into the machine goes,
and those lobbyists go, what do you need?
Yeah, you ain't doing that shit, boy. Go back to your little office, because we got this. What do you mean I can't do? Well, that's not how that works. This is how it works.
Right. Well,
what do you mean that's how it works? We need to change it. Yeah, good luck doing that. Let's take a vote. Anybody dislike the way we're doing things? No. You? Okay. Well, forget you.
Right.
You? No. Okay. Good. Yeah, it's not changing.
Right. And a lot of people, and that's the sad part, is that a lot of people are afraid to actually stand up and do that, to actually to question the machine and to push against it until we really do that. So Shayna, that's
Here's what I'm saying.
It's not going to get any better.
If you wake up in the middle of the night and one arm is asleep and one leg is asleep, do you change positions, get up, shake it out, or do you just go,
accept it?
Just accept it.
No, you don't. You fix it, right?
You fix it.
So here's something I'll just say real quickly that probably a lot of people don't even really understand or can't believe. So obviously when a bill gets passed in our government, right, it takes a lot of time and a lot of money and a lot of effort. So the bills that actually are introduced and actually passed and go through should have a significant impact on people, right, or on the general public. So if you people even knew that they spent time, money, and considerable amount of effort to try and put into practice a bill that would require children who want to go out and become little entrepreneurs and sell lemonade and ice cream and stuff in their front yard, to require them to get a permit and pay taxes. Is that, if that is not the most ludicrous thing in the world, oh, no, you can't do it. You got to get a permit. So now you got to spend more time going down. Why don't you just go sit back inside on your computer or your tablet?
Okay, so that little kid then creates a lemonade business that now is mass producing lemonade. And this 7-year-old girl is making billions of dollars a year selling Lucy's lemonade to all across the world. Should she still be, should she be taxed?
You just went completely opposite. You don't know. And I mean, extreme. I mean, think about it. Did you ever have a lemonade stand?
No.
Oh my God, dude. See, that was the thing for us. When I was young, I had lemonade stands. I cut grass.
I was a dude.
You were a dude.
But I mean, a grass cutting business.
Right, I did. But think about that one. A little kid that just wants to go out. Just wants to go out this morning, or and on a Saturday morning and sell lemonade to people because they're motivated to do something, and they see that their efforts can pay off to where if they wanted to buy the Susie doll, they go work for a couple hours, they can make a few dollars and go buy that Susie doll or donate to a rescue.
Yeah.
Right. Use that money. Yeah. So now what they're saying is this little kid who's got some inkling of motivation to do something for themselves, now they got to go work with the political machine. Yeah. Right. And so it's gonna dampen their spirit.
Teaches them the right way to do it.
Yeah, but at that age, talking to them and telling them what to do and making them do it are two different things. I think the people that actually are knocking that law down, and I don't want to get too deep into it, but I just really wanted to bring up the fact that our money, our tax money, is being wasted on a law, a potential, something they want to make a law that is so insignificant. And the amount of tax money that would actually come in from that would never even pay for what that bill cost to put across. So where do you go? Where do you go from there? You don't. There's no place to go. It's a waste of money, like a $10,000 hammer.
A lot of waste of time.
It's a lot of waste of time. It's a lot of wasted money. And when that was brought up to me, I was dumbfounded, because I stop at every lemonade stand. I stop at, if there's a kid sitting there on their driveway selling something, I will stop, whether I need that product or I'm in a hurry. I will stop and I will give that person money, because that kid has shown the initiative to do something other than being a lazy POS.
I also stop, but I put up my vodka stand right next to it.
I thought you were going to come up with something like that, Ken. Trying to sell CBD or something, right?
I stop, put up my card table, and hey, shot of vodka, 25 cents.
Right.
No, I joke. But
well, Shayna says my political engagement would increase my chance of catching a case. What do you mean by catching a case? Getting in trouble?
Or
are you afraid of actually standing up? Are you afraid of someone knowing who you are, because they already know who you are?
Yeah, taxes supported the puppy torture. I want to know where all my money goes now.
Well, you don't. You want to know where your money goes now? It's free out there. You can find where it's at. You just have to dig, and you'd be surprised where it's going.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that a lot of people don't know, and that's where becoming a reader makes you a leader, because you know where it's at. And like we talked kind of like last week, vote with your dollar.
Yeah.
You know, you're the one that makes the money. You don't have to spend it on something that you don't want to.
Right.
You don't have to let the government do what they're doing. You can fight back on it. You know, I don't what's the word? I can't talk this morning. I'm not a proponent, or I don't agree with people that riot, but I agree with people that will stand up, and people that will picket, and people that will calmly try to stand up for things. I don't. You know, I mean, violence is not going to fix anything. Standing up and making things more difficult for the people that you're doing is important, because then they know that you're pissed off and that you mean business. But going in there, ruining things, breaking things, that doesn't do shit, except now it costs you more money, because now that we've got to fix that.
Well, everything costs more money, but if you have pledged allegiance to that flag, then you are okay with the people have the right to riot.
I wonder how many people actually know how
they have the freedom to riot.
I wonder how many people actually out there could recite the Pledge of Allegiance.
Yeah, not a lot now.
Or even have any idea of.
And I was doing some reading, and there are school boards out there who got rid of opening their school board meetings with the Pledge of Allegiance, because they wanted to save time in their meetings.
Ridiculous.
It's 31 words.
So what does it take you, even if you're a slow reader? 20 seconds? 31 words. And you know what? And you know what it is? I think it's not just timing. I think it's because it actually, when you read something like that, it changes your mindset, right? Yeah. If you don't do that, you're going to be in this pissed off mindset. But you come in there and you say, you read the pledge, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, right? You start thinking differently. Yeah. Right. Because you're not in your pissed off mood. You actually have changed your train of thought, at least momentarily, to really, you know what? Hey, you know what? We really do have it good here. Let's rethink what we're going to stay.
And we all kind of we started down this rabbit hole, talking a little bit about communism, because that's what I hear all the time at nauseum. I'm tired of it. Oh, welcome to communist America. We're a long way from that, folks. But at the same time,
we are a long way, but we're getting closer.
But at the same time, I would challenge. We used to be a proud country, United States.
Whoa.
We didn't all have the same ideology, but we were united. And now I would love to and I'll do a little research before next week, but I would love, and I kind of need to know, how many people are proud Americans and how many people are embarrassed to say they're Americans now, and who live in the States, right? Because if you've moved out of the States and you're around the world, you could be like, ooh, I'm going for dual citizenship or whatever the case may be with Singapore, because I'm not now, right? So I think the interesting thing is, and to Bob's point, is it's been separated and torn at its very fabric because of capitalism, because of money.
Right. Like I said all the time, follow the money.
Right. Shana says, no, we have the illusion of an open government. The programs and expense is often hidden from public. Yeah, right. There's a lot that.
But if you dig, there is a lot that you don't know. Shayna, but the Freedom of Information Act
Mhm.
has allowed for a lot more.
Yeah.
Yes, you are going to dig. You're going to have to dig a little bit
Yeah.
more. You're going to have to be very resourceful, but it is out there, and you're going to have a lot of tenacity
Mhm.
to get to it. Because I have pulled up some things, that took a while for me to
Sure.
find, and for some people that are worried, do it on the DuckDuckGo or do it on
Mhm.
a private web browser, so you're not being tracked. Turn off your phone. Don't have your phone anywhere near you when you're doing these things if you're worried about people finding out. The information's out there. The problem is it's layers deep,
Mhm.
and you can find it. You have to just be pissed off
Well-
enough to actually persevere and go
Here's-
through it and hit, just like life. You're going to hit roadblocks. You're going to get things. You're going to be stopped from finding something or getting to something that you really want. Persevere. If it's really that important to you and you want to make it happen, don't give up.
Right. So, I'm not proud or embarrassed, just confused. And I think a lot of people are. She says, but here's the, as we go down that. I mean, you got Gary and people all over the world who are watching C-SPAN to watch this drama that's unfolding here, this daytime drama that's called the United States government, and we here in America are like, no. And what I tell my kids, and I've told them and I've instructed them, and all the kids that I've coached, is I'm like, you got to understand, there's always two sides to a coin, and then there's an edge. And somewhere on either one of those sides or on the edge lies the truth. But I can't find the truth if I only look at one side of the story.
Right. Our country is on the edge right now. We got both sides flip-flopping.
Right. And I can't then turn and just look at that side. So here's what happens, and it happens all the time, right? Is, hey, I watch CNN, or hey, I watch this, Fox or whatever,
right.
And they're the exact same people.
Well, you can't just
you
watch one
wanna
source.
hear.
You've got to look at a bunch of different sources, and that's the thing, is you've got to be able to decipher all these different news sources and understand which news media, which news company is owned by which side, so to speak.
Beth says it.
Good morning, Beth.
The patriotism in this country needs to come back. Absolutely. Wave your flags out front every day. Say the pledge. Be proud of this great nation. We are free, and we have to keep fighting for our freedom. Yeah, anything worth having in life is worth fighting for. It doesn't matter where you are in the world.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Just because it's here, a lot of people just assume because we're America that it's going to continue to be free, and it's not. You have to fight for what you want, what you need every day. Doesn't matter for your kids, for your family, for your life, for your education, for your
but they do the same thing
your
in Singapore,
job.
Right? You fight for what.
Yeah, true. Yeah, correct.
You have to stand up for what you feel is wrong, and if you don't, and you're one of those people that just is the, what do they call them, where they're just stuck behind the screen, and
Keyboard warriors.
The keyboard warrior. If you're just a keyboard warrior and you're not out there actually doing anything, you're the problem, because all you're doing is really just inciting people, and then they keyboard warrior and they don't do anything, and then they get frustrated. Go out and actually do something.
Take a look.
Go wave a flag. Go hug your neighbor just for no reason. Hey, what's going on? It's nice to see you. I appreciate you being here.
It's
and
when
see
you
what
give
happens.
them a pat on the ass that it gets strange.
Yeah. And take this a little bit different level. It's almost like a pay it forward thing. You don't have to buy somebody something, right?
Right.
But think about this. When's the last time somebody did something nice for you just to do it? Or when's the last time you did something nice for somebody for no reason?
You
just do it.
You did the other day for me and my wife.
I did?
Yeah, it means a lot.
Oh, yeah. So, but I mean, just to do something for, he got me going there. I couldn't think about. So just do something for somebody, because that's what maybe you would like, right? Just, hey, you see your neighbor over there, I don't know, just for example, cutting the grass, run over there, trim their, do their weed whacking, or, I'm stretching here for an idea, but just do something to show somebody that they matter, right? Hey, I'm good. I want to help you. I'm American. This is what it's all about, helping each other. We all struggle every day, understanding that, helping people to get through that, and let them know that they mean something. You know how many people out there in this world right now that are lonely, that you would have no clue that they're lonely, and that they would just love for somebody to come over and just, hey, how's it going? Pay it forward, make them feel good, because people right now don't feel good about themselves. They don't feel good about our country. They feel like there's nothing they can do. And that is the problem beginning, middle, and end. People don't know what to do. They feel stuck. And all they're going to do is start bitching.
Right.
Well, bitching
So-
is good, but you have to actually make action. And that's one reason, Shayna, that I have these rolling billboards. I'm actually thinking about actually other billboards.
Shayna puts it, I'm too curious to be proud. We've done untold atrocities, one of which I learned about on your show, and to pretend we are the best without a specific metric, it makes me very uncomfortable. It makes me uncomfortable. I put very in there.
Okay.
And then she says, Scott, kindness isn't exclusively an American. It's a human.
No, it's a human thing. I'm not meaning it's only human,
but as we're talking about patriotism and bringing it back, and yes, and that's where education comes in.
Right.
Is yes, the United States has done miserable things.
So has any other country in the world. I mean, there's 200.
But we're talking just specifically about us right now. They have. And what have we done? What do you do to counteract that, Shayna? Go out there and do something just super simple, nice for somebody, and just see how it changes their day. I mean, I don't know where you're at and what you do. I mean, if you go out to McDonald's, buy the guy behind you a coffee, and see the look on their face when you spent $1. And I don't know, but just something like that, or help an old lady, put her groceries in her car.
That doesn't change patriotism.
Patriotism,
right.
but it will, because it's a small step towards it. You're making that person feel better, making them more happy, making them maybe a little bit prouder. So maybe they're going to stand up a little bit more because they feel more worth as a person. Kent's shaking his head because you guys can't all see it. And that's where I feel
that's just
if everyone starts, it's the small things. I'll tell you what, there's a book out there called The Slight Edge. Read it.
So what you're saying is if I go on vacation to France and I buy somebody a coffee, they're going to be a proud American because an American.
I'm talking American. I'm talking here in America.
It's not going to change patriots. It's not going to change their views.
It's going to help.
They're going to say,
no,
wow,
it's not going to change it. And I said it earlier in the show. It's not going to change overnight. It's not going to change quickly, but it's one small. So it's one, and Kent, the way Kent's acting right now is the way America is. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. One small thing, small thing at a time.
And now we're a socialist state because people are giving me things I don't have to buy for.
The government's not. It's the people that are being nice to you.
How do I know you're not in the government?
Well, I could be. Maybe I'm trying to buy your vote. But the important thing is that you're trying.
Being kind is nice.
It's right, being kind. But when somebody does something nice for you, doesn't that make you feel wonderful that you're a good person? Are you that? Right?
The bloodiest
warm, fuzzy feeling?
The bloodiest war America had was when we fought ourselves.
And you might...
Let's be patriotic there.
And you might actually do something nice for somebody if somebody did something nice for you, right?
That's all I'm saying. Oh, my God, we're a minute over.
One small step for mankind.
Of course, Uncle Pete took off, and we can't. We don't even know what time it is. So.
We have no timekeeper.
We're past. So guys, hey, have a good Friday. Since I wasn't here to open up the show with that, but please, you know what, guys, everybody, try go out today.
That's it.
Do something stupid, simple, easy, nice for somebody, and just watch their face. You would just be. I mean, it makes me feel. It glow. I glow all day long by just doing something really simple for people. When you see that they're like, wow, I actually matter. Somebody actually cares about me or was nice enough to take even 30 seconds out of their life.
I love you for doing that.
Yeah. 30 seconds out of their life just to make me feel better about me because people aren't feeling better about me. So how they feel good about the country. We love you. Be good. Right. Have a great weekend.
Good. Come back. Bridging Civil Tension. Best of is next. And then come back at 1 for the Neighborhood Pulse. We'll talk to everybody later. Have a great Friday.
Yep.
Thank you for getting caught in the net with us.
Yeah. For getting caught in the net. No music today?
No, Uncle Pete.